In the grand saga of ancient Egypt, filled with colossal pyramids and god-kings, some stories are whispered, not shouted. This is one of them. It's about a pharaoh who ruled at the edge of chaos, a man history tried to erase, Userkare. His story isn't about great monuments. It's about a ghost on the throne, and it reveals the cracks forming in one of the world's greatest ancient empires. Our story begins around 2333 BCE, with the death of King Teti, the founder of Egypt's powerful 6th dynasty. Teti's end was abrupt, and many historians believe he was assassinated. Imagine the shock. The divine king, the anchor of the state, suddenly gone. This wasn't just a death, it was a crisis. The royal line was broken, and the unquestioned authority of the pharaoh was suddenly up for grabs. In this moment of extreme vulnerability, a new name appears out of nowhere: Userkare. Who was he? We don't really know. He had no clear family connection to Teti, no obvious claim to the throne. He was simply there, a placeholder king wedged between the murdered Teti and his rightful heir, Pepi I. This is where the real mystery starts. When you look at the official records of ancient Egypt, like the famous king lists written by later scribes, Userkare is often completely missing. It's as if they pretended he never existed. His name was scrubbed, his monuments, if he ever built any, have vanished. In a civilization obsessed with legacy and eternity, being forgotten like this is no accident. It's a deliberate act of political cancellation. This glaring absence strongly suggests that Userkare was not a legitimate successor. He was likely a usurper, a powerful court official or rival who seized the throne in the confusion following Teti's death. His reign was incredibly short, perhaps only a few months, maybe a year at most. In ancient Egypt, a pharaoh secured his legacy and his place in the afterlife by building a pyramid, a sun temple, grand statues. These were not just buildings. They were statements of power and divine right. Userkare built nothing that we know of. No pyramid bears his name. No temple was dedicated to his cult. A reign this brief and architecturally silent was a reign on borrowed time. It wasn't long enough to build a legacy in stone, and without that, his rule was as fleeting as a shadow. For the Egyptians, if your memory wasn't carved into eternity, it was often because you failed, or worse, you were never meant to be king at all. Then, just as quickly as he appeared, Userkare was gone. The throne was taken by Pepi I, Teti's son and rightful heir. Pepi's reign was long, stable, and prosperous. He restored order, reasserted the power of the dynasty, and got Egypt back on track. And as he consolidated his power, the memory of Userkare was systematically wiped from the record. Inscriptions were changed, documents were altered, and the official story was rewritten to flow smoothly from Teti directly to Pepi. This was how ancient Egypt dealt with inconvenient truths and illegitimate rulers. They didn't just defeat them, they erased them, ensuring that history remembered only the victors and the rightful kings. So why should we care about this phantom pharaoh? Because Userkare's brief, shadowy reign is a crucial clue. It proves that even in the mighty old kingdom, the concept of divine kingship was not invincible. It shows that the throne could be challenged, and that legitimacy, the right to rule, was ultimately more important than raw power. Userkare is a hairline fracture on the perfect facade of the old kingdom, a sign of the internal struggles and instability that would eventually lead to its collapse. He didn't shape history with what he built, but by the very fact of his brief existence and subsequent erasure. He reminds us that some of the most revealing stories in history are not about the kings who ruled for decades, but about the ones who barely ruled at all. They show us the moments when empires teetered on the brink. Thanks for joining this deep dive into one of Egypt's greatest mysteries. If you enjoy uncovering the stories that history tried to forget, make sure to like and subscribe. Even the forgotten kings have something to teach us about how empires rise and how they truly fall.